Well, whilst Canada gears up to fight the scourge of Chinese EVs, which apparently are plaguing Canada's streets, they don't sell any of them there except for the Tesla Model Y. Surprisingly, EV sales actually have increased significantly in Canada this year. Really good news. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching The Electric Viking. It's great to see you. The US, they've been outpacing Canada in EV and plug-in hybrid adoption and sales. Eligible zero emissions vehicles in Canada get a rebate of $5,000. So that's only $3,600 US, meaning the rebate in Canada is less than half what you get in America. And yet, EV sales are growing. Quebec accounts for 50.6% of all new registrations in Canada this year, which is quite a surprising number. The one place, Quebec, basically 51% of all EVs sold. Sales of EVs and plug-in hybrid EVs are growing quicker in Canada than in America, partly because of incentives in Quebec and British Columbia, say the media, but also because maybe Canadians are just, dare I say it, a little bit more intelligent. Did I just say that? Oh, I didn't mean that, guys. I have no idea. In fact, I've never actually been to Canada. I'd love to, though. I often think, Canada, what a massive place. There must be so much to see there. By analyzing EV and plug-in hybrid sales data across the January to April periods in 2022, 2023, and 2024, S&P Global saw that the US was outpacing Canada in EV and plug-in hybrid sales. But in 2024, things changed drastically. EV registrations in Canada have increased 57% this year versus 2023. Plug-in hybrids increased 75%. So the Canadian car market is drastically changing. And that's probably because I think of, one key issue here, but I'll get to that in a minute. By comparison though, EV growth is still increasing, it's still rising, but it is true that it's not rising at anywhere near the same pace that it was last year. EV registrations increased by 130,000 units that's from January to April 2023, compared to January to April 2022. But the increase this year is 25,000. So sales increased from January to April, or the first 4 months of last year, by 137,000, this year by 25,000. But it's still an increase, so we'll take it. Analysts say that Canadian incentives are a significant contributor to the increase in sales of EVs and plug-in hybrids, but it's probably also partly because Tesla vehicles now qualify for those incentives. They didn't most of them didn't used to, but Tesla vehicles do now qualify. The nation currently has an incentive for EVs that provides buyers or lessees with a rebate of $3,600 or Canadian 5,000. In Quebec, you can get an additional incentive. Here, you can see why in Quebec people are buying more EVs, because Quebec is offering $5,000 or Canadian $7,000 off the price. So if you stack those discounts together, you're looking at about $10,000 discount to buy an electric car. Plug-in hybrids, similar, right? Plug-in hybrid, $3,600 in Quebec. So you're getting one for around about $6,000 discount. This financial assistance program will be phased out in 2027, but by then I think it's a good plan. I think by 2027 you won't need any EV discounts. EVs will be the same price, if not less, than equivalent internal combustion engine vehicles, but they'll be much better than they are today. In a couple of years from now, I think we're going to see some big improvements, big changes to EVs. The province, so Quebec accounted for 51% or 50.6% of all EVs sold for the first 4 months of this year. British Columbia was next with 20.6%. Ontario was in second with 22.5%. In British Columbia, you can also get an additional incentive, $2,900 or Canadian 4,000. And Ontario, interestingly, really good to see sales increasing there so much, considering you don't get any additional incentives in Ontario. In the US, California remains the most crucial state, of course, for EV sales, accounting for 34% of all EV sales in America this year. 34%. I mean, yes, you guys have 40 million people, but that's only 12% of the American population, which is 340 million. So really, Canada is buying EVs at a rate that is about three times higher than the standard US rate across the rest of America. In fact, it might be closer to 4 times higher. Now, it is worth pointing out, 15 US states have additional EV incentives. So it's not like the US doesn't have. I mean, you guys already have the $7,500 EV incentive. That's massive. Plus 15 US states have incentives you can stack on top of that. So it is surprising, to be honest, to see that Canada is, well, its EV growth rate is so much faster than America's. Now, guys, I think one of the reasons for this is, like I said before, Tesla decreasing the price of their cars in Canada, and they now qualify for EV incentives. And that's definitely helped spur on adoption. So have these incentives. There's no doubt that's helped. But why is it then that Americans are not adopting EVs at the same pace? Because realistically, the incentives in America are pretty similar to what you can get in Canada. I mean, in Canada, in a lot of places in Canada, you're getting a lot less. You're getting $3,000 versus the $7,500 in America. Now, do a lot of Americans not know about these incentives? Or do they think that, it's too much of a hassle to try and do them in your taxes or whatever? Let me know what you think, guys, in the comments. And thank you for watching. Bye-bye.